Hi boys and girls. Today we are going to be completing an assessment practice before we take our math test. Now if you open up your Envisions Workbook Volume 1 to page 47, that's 47, you will see this page in your workbook. Now Mrs. Collier is going to show you what it looks like to take the assessment practice. So I'm going to read through these questions and I'm not going to answer them, but I will read all of the answer choices and questions for you. So again, this is page 47. If you need to pause and open up your workbook, please go ahead and do so. So to begin, it says number 1. Number 1 says there are 8 penguins. Some go inside the cave. Some stay outside. Match the number of penguins inside the cave with the number of penguins outside. So for this problem, it wants us to pay attention very closely. So it tells us we have 8 penguins. Some go inside and some stay outside. Below, it wants you to match the number of penguins inside the cave with the number of penguins outside. So these numbers here, all on the top, these are the number of penguins inside. These numbers down here are the penguins outside. You need to match a number from the inside penguins to the outside penguins. So you are going to draw a line to connect. Now it told us there's 8 penguins. So whichever numbers you connect from the inside and outside, when you add them together, they have to equal 8. So for example, if I was going to draw a line from 5 penguins inside to 1 penguin outside, that would be 5 plus 1 equals 6. So this could not work because I have to have 8 penguins. So I need to draw a line from 5 penguins to a number down here that would equal 8. So I'm going to erase that. So when you finish answering this question, you should have 3 lines connecting an inside and an outside number. Number 2 says Sage has 10 peppers. She cooks 3 of them. How many peppers are left? Write a subtraction equation to solve. So if you remember, subtraction has our minus symbol, so we're going to fill in our symbols. And we always have equals at the end. So write a subtraction equation for Sage had 10 peppers, so she started with 10, and she cooks 3 of them. So how many peppers does she have left? Write an equation below for that. Number 3 says Sarah has 5 green beads and 3 red beads. How many beads does she have in all? This wants us to write an addition equation. With addition, we are adding, so I'm going to write my plus sign and equals. It wants you to write an addition equation for Sarah has 5 green beads and 3 red beads. On page 2, number 4 says Trina has 8 markers. Then she gives 5 markers to David. Which equation shows how many markers Trina has left? So which of these equations, you're going to fill in the bubble for which equation matches the information that was given to us. So if she had 8 markers and she gives 5 of them away, which of these equations shows that? And fill in the circle for whichever one you pick. Number 5 says George had 7 postcards. Then he gets some more. Now he has 9 postcards. This is very important down here. Which equation does not describe the story? So which of these equations does not solve a story. So you're going to look at all of these equations. One of them will not describe our story of George had 7 postcards, then he got some more, and now he has 9. Which of these equations, and you'll fill in the bubble, does not describe that story? And as Mrs. Collier's going through the test practice, please pause it and rewind at any time you need, because this is just for practice. Number 6 says Dante has 5 books. He wants to have 7 books. How many more books does Dante need to have 7 in all? So if Dante has 5 books, he wants to have 7. How many more books does Dante need to have 7 in all? So if he has 5, how many does he need to add to get 7 books? And you are going to fill in the circle that has your answer choice. If he has 5 books, but he wants 7 books, how many does he need to add? Our next page, page 3, has number 7 at the top. So you should be seeing number 7. And if you need to pause the video or rewind, please go ahead and do so. Number 7 says Lucy and Ellie have 6 cubes in all. Lucy and Ellie have 6 cubes in all. Ellie has 5 cubes. How many cubes does Lucy have? Now, this is very important. It says choose 3 equations that show the story. So you are going to pick 3 of these boxes that show this equation. So if Lucy and Ellie together have 6 cubes, and Ellie has 5 of those cubes, how many cubes does Lucy have? So you need to read all of these answer choices. So 6 minus 4 equals 2. 6 minus 5 equals 1. 5 plus 1 equals 6. 3 plus 3 equals 6. Or 6 minus 1 equals 5. Which of these 3 equations, so you're going to check 3 of these equations, show this story? Number 8 says Trina has 6 ribbons. Julie has 2 ribbons. What could happen for them to have the same number of ribbons? So if Trina has 6 ribbons, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, these red ribbons over here. And Julie only has these 2 blue ribbons. So what could happen for them to have the same number of ribbons? Could Julie give one of her ribbons to Trina? So could Julie give one of her blue ribbons to Trina's red ribbons to have the same number? Could Trina give one of her red ribbons to Julie to make it even? Could Trina give 2 of her red ribbons to Julie? Or could Trina give 4 of her red ribbons to Julie, who has the blue ribbons? Which one of those would give them the same number of ribbons? So would Trina need to give some of her ribbons to Julie? Or could Julie give some of her ribbons to Trina to make it the same? Then you are going to circle in the answer choice that you decide. Number 9 says draw the missing cubes on the mat. For this one, you can just draw your pencil, and you can use your pencil and you could just draw some circles. You don't have to draw this exact cube because that's kind of hard. Then write a subtraction equation that shows the story. So Owen has 5 blocks. Owen has 5 blocks. He gives 1 to Jordan. How many blocks does Owen have left? So you could draw the missing cubes on the map. So it has 1 here already. And it tells us that we have 5 total. So you would need to draw the missing cubes on the map, and then it wants you to write the equation, the subtraction equation for the story. So if Owen has 5 blocks and he gives 1 to Jordan, how many blocks does Owen have left? How many does Owen have left? And Mrs. Collier isn't too concerned about drawing on the map. I just need to see that you can write the subtraction equation correctly. On our last page, number 10 says Hannah has 9 flowers. Carrie has 6 flowers. Which equation shows how many fewer flowers Carrie has than Hannah? So if Hannah has these 9 red flowers, Carrie has these 6 yellow flowers, and we want to show an equation that shows how many fewer flowers Carrie has than Hannah, which of these equations down here represents this story? So which of these equations down here shows where Hannah has 9 flowers, Carrie has 6 flowers, and shows the number of how many fewer flowers Carrie has than Hannah? So look at our problems down here, and when you find it, you're going to fill in the circle. Number 11 says Laura has 7 pears. She wants to keep 2 pears for herself and give 1 to each of her 6 friends. Will Laura have enough pears? And then you can use pictures or words to explain in the box. So if Laura has 7 pears, she wants to keep 2 for herself and also give 1 to each of her 6 friends. So you could draw a picture showing 7 pears and then see if she wanted to keep 2 of them, how many would you have left? And would she have enough to give to each of her friends? So you can draw how you would solve this, how many marks you would make if you cross any off, and then you could just tell me yes or no, will she have enough pears in the box? And number 12 says Nikki has 8 tennis balls. Thomas has 6 tennis balls. So which equation shows how many more tennis balls Nikki has than Thomas? So let's look at our equations down here. If Nikki has these 8 tennis balls and Thomas has 6 tennis balls, which equation shows how many more tennis balls Nikki has than Thomas? So let's look at our problems down here. Which of them shows how many more tennis balls Nikki has than Thomas? And boys and girls, this is just assessment practice. It is not for a grade, but our math assessment that we do take for a grade has 12 questions also. So I am going to send our grown-ups the answers to this assessment practice so you can check and see at home how you did.